I have spent the last few weeks generating B-roll clips for 3D animations using nothing but AI, and what I found completely changed how I approach every project I work on now. Because if your 3D world does not feel lived in, it does not matter how good your models are. The scene falls flat, the viewer disconnects, and all that work you put into building the environment goes completely unnoticed. So in this video, I am going to show you how to generate cinematic B-roll for your 3D animations, while covering 4 categories that will make any environment feel like it actually exists. The tool we are using today is Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.5. This is huge because Cinema Studio actually lets you direct your scenes by selecting equipment that costs thousands of dollars in real life. That level of control is what makes it so powerful for this use case, because B-roll for 3D animation is not just about what is in the shot, but how the camera captures it. If you want to follow along, I will leave a link to Higgsfield in the description below. We are going to cover 4 types of B-roll: camera movement, background life, weather and atmosphere, and decay over time. Each one adds a completely different layer to your animations, and by the end you will have a full toolkit for making any 3D scene feel like it actually belongs in a film. Let's start with the first one. The way your camera moves through a scene changes everything about how it feels. A slow, controlled dolly hits completely different from a shaky handheld shot, and Higgsfield lets you define exactly that before you generate anything, which is something most tools just cannot do. Head into Higgsfield and open Cinema Studio 2.5. We are working in the video section for all of this. Once you are inside, switch to multi-shot manual mode so that we can generate multiple B-roll clips at once. You can add up to 6 scenes, and for each one you get to define the duration, the camera movement, the genre, and the speed ramp. This is the part of Higgsfield that genuinely changes how you think about B-roll, because you are not just generating a clip, you're directing it so your animations will feel alive. Before you type a single word of your prompt, think about the kind of shot you want. Each movement and duration delivers a completely different output, so I suggest taking some time testing them out. For this first clip, I'll set the duration to 3 seconds. Select dolly for the camera movement and set the genre to action. Then I'll paste in my prompt. For the second scene, set the duration to 3 seconds. Select handheld for the camera movement and keep the genre to action. The contrast between that and the first shot is exactly what makes a sequence feel dynamic. You are not just showing a world, you are showing it from 2 completely different perspectives. For the third scene, let's try a completely different camera movement. Set the duration to 4 seconds and select orbit for the camera movement. A wide orbital shot like this makes the scale of the environment feel massive and imposing, perfect for closing out a sequence with impact. Once all 3 scenes are set up, hit generate and let Higgsfield build the full sequence. When it comes back, you will have 3 clips that each feel completely different, but together tell a story about the world through the camera alone. And all that is just from changing how the lens sees the scene. The next category is one I think is genuinely underrated, and once I show you what it does to a scene, you will never skip it again. I'm talking about background life, the stuff that happens behind your main subject that makes the world feel populated and real. I used to completely overlook this when I was building out 3D animations, and it was the biggest reason my environments felt empty even when everything else looked great. Now for this section, I am actually going to use a character reference. I have already created a simple white mannequin character inside Higgsfield, and I am going to use it as a main subject in each shot while we generate a B-roll around it. So this time, I'll go ahead and select my character. We are building another 3-shot sequence here, and each shot focuses on a different type of distant movement. The first one is all about depth. Add your first scene, set it to 3 seconds, select a slow dolly for the camera movement, and set the genre to general. Now I'll paste in my prompt. The key phrase there is out of focus. You want Higgsfield to understand that the background motion should feel distant and soft, not sharp and distracting. That one word changes the whole composition. For the second shot, I want to create a more grounded background with people passing by. Add scene 2, set it to 3 seconds, select handheld for the camera movement, and switch the genre to action. This shot gives the world a human presence even though our character is still the main subject. That is exactly what makes the animations feel alive and it's the energy you want from a B-roll. The third shot pulls back even further. Add scene 3, set it to 4 seconds, select orbit for the camera movement, and set the genre as suspense. These scenes make any 3D environment feel lived in, and it's exactly what a B-roll should do. Now the next section is the most versatile one yet. Atmosphere, the overall environmental state of a scene, the time of day, the weather, the mood. And the reason this one excites me so much is that the exact same environment can feel like a completely different world, depending on the conditions you drop it into. For this sequence, we are jumping between 3 vastly different atmospheric states, and the contrast between them is the whole point. For the first shot, I want something that feels warm and expansive. This is the shot that makes a world feel like it is at its best, full of light, full of possibility. I'll select zoom out for my camera movement and intimate for the genre. Now I'll write the prompt. Use a longer focal length here, something like 85 millimeters, to compress the background and make the city feel dense and layered. That compression is what gives it that big budget film quality. Now we flip the energy completely. We'll use the same type of environment, but in a completely different setting. Select tilt down as the camera movement and horror as the genre. These changes will make the city feel like something you should be wary of instead of something inviting like the first scene. For the third shot, we are keeping the same city, but dropping it into a completely different atmosphere. Select orbit for the camera movement and suspense for the genre. These changes make this scene look like an establishing shot from a detective film. The weather and atmosphere highlight the mystery feeling we want our scene to have. These 3 shots showcase the same world, but with a completely different emotion portrayed each time. That is how much power the atmosphere has over a scene. The next category is one with a lot of creative potential, and most people have not even thought about it yet when it comes to AI B-roll. Every environment you build has a past, and showing that through a B-roll is something most 3D creators never even think about. This is the difference between a corridor that looks like it was built yesterday and one that looks like it has been running for 100 years. That sense of time passing and wear is one of the most powerful storytelling tools in visual media. What makes Cinema Studio incredible for this specifically is the start and end frame feature. You can build a sequence where the same environment progresses through different states of decay, and each shot feels like a deliberate choice rather than a random generation. I have already created a pair of images. I am going to upload a start frame and an end frame and let Cinema Studio handle the transition. For the first shot, set the duration to 3 seconds, select handheld for the camera movement, and set the genre to action. Then upload your pristine corridor as the start frame and the fully overgrown, abandoned version as the end frame. For scene 2, set the duration to 4 seconds. Select handheld for the camera movement and shift the genre to suspense. For the final shot, set the scene 3 to 3 seconds, use dolly in for the camera movement, and set the genre to horror. The final result showcases a story that happens over time. The passage of time is the only thing that changes, and it makes the whole scene come to life. With Higgsfield, you can create any type of B-roll your animations might need to truly be complete. And the level of control you get is what makes the difference between B-rolls that look AI generated and B-rolls that look like they came from a real production. If you want to start creating your own cinematic B-roll today, click the link in the description and head over to Higgsfield. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.